Time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom. This is a show where we wake up with the Saturday morning sun, popped on the floor with a big bowl of sugary cereal, and watch all your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
This morning, we watched, finally, the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, definitely, finally.
and this is this is the original one, not the 2016 version,
yes.
Which we will eventually watch, I'm sure.
Did they name that differently, though? Like Powerpuff Girls Z, or is that, am I thinking of something else?
I'm pretty sure you're thinking of everything else, but no, this is, no, right. I honestly think the remake is just Powerpuff Girls 2016.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I'm not hip. I'm not jiggy with it anymore. Not down with the lingo and all the cool things that are happening.
You're not down with the sickness.
I'm not. I still say that though. Like I say that way more than anyone ever should.
Why is that stuck in our heads forever? I don't get it.
I don't know, but I think it's hilarious. Yeah, I'm not down with the sickness.
That's awesome.
This was suggested to us by the Voker via Facebook. I guess I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
the Voker.
Right, the Joker. A weird one. The Joker's evil twin, eviler twin.
The Voker. Yes. So thanks, Voker.
Thanks.
Appreciation.
The Voker.
Yeah. If he hadn't suggested this, someone else would have. So, I mean,
eventually, but
we can appreciate that, I guess.
He beat everyone else to it. So he wins.
He wins. Give him that. Yes. Congratulations.
So the show Powerpuff Girls aired from 1998 to 2005. Created by Craig McCracken, produced by Hanna-Barbera Cartoons for season 1 through 4, and Cartoon Network Studios for seasons 5 through 6. This ran for 6 seasons, 78 episodes on Cartoon Network. For short synopsis written by Ray Schaff 2. It's like Ray Schaff -2 I wonder if that's like a XX emo angel XX or something situation.
Or if it's like he really, really wanted that number 2 there. And he wasn't ready to give it up, so he just put an extra dash after it just so he could have it.
He's tired of being called Junior. He doesn't understand Roman numerals, so he doesn't remember those. So he just had the 2 in there, and he wanted to separate it. Yep.
No one remembers Roman numerals, man. I mean, I even have them tattooed on my arm, and I don't remember what Roman numerals are. Come on.
Do you think it's the same situation as like Romans who are bad at math? Like, I don't remember. I can't remember my numerals.
How many eyes is this?
Yeah. How many eyes is 3 again? so 3 superpowered little girls constantly save the world, or at least the city of Townsville, from monsters, would-be conquerors, and a few other gross things.
Yeah. I never really considered it, but I guess, do they ever not just save Townsville, or is it only Townsville?
I mean, I'm assuming a lot of it's like the world, Yeah,
I guess by proxy, some of the things they do inadvertently saves the world, I suppose.
Right. Like, I doubt it ever opens like the city of the world.
Right. The world of Earth.
Yeah.
Is under attack.
Yeah, but yeah, by proxy, because a lot of these are conquerors, masterminds who are trying to eventually take over the world. But it has to start with Townsville, which apparently is like they actually gave the coordinates for where it's located in a certain episode, but it just happens to be some like distant nothing out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean or something. So it's not a real area even.
Not anymore.
It was already conquered. So who are some of the actors who played in the show?
All right. So the voice of Blossom was provided by Kathy Cavadini. The voice of Bubbles provided by Tara Strong. Those of you that listen to the show often are very familiar with that name. She was the voice of Hello Kitty, Harley Quinn, Batgirl, Ben 10, Twilight Sparkle, and many, many, many more. The voice of Buttercup also has a recognizable name. This is Elizabeth Daly, who is the voice of Tommy Pickles from Rugrats. Remember Rugrats?
Yes.
That's another one that we somehow have not done yet.
I was going to ask.
I don't know how that ever.
I always forget.
Yeah. Somebody asked us to do Rugrats, man.
I think most people know her as E.G. Daily, but yeah, Elizabeth Daily.
Yeah, E.G. Her. The voices of both the professor and him were Tom Kane, who is also the voice of the narrator and Yoda from the Clone Wars and several other Star Wars animated shows. The voice of the narrator and the mayor is Tom Kenny. Again, another very famous voice actor there, voice of SpongeBob and the Ice King from Adventure Time. Miss Bellum was voiced by Jennifer Martin. Miss Keene, voiced by Jennifer Hale, she is basically a famous voice actress as well. Really well known for video games, but also does a lot of cartoons as well. She was the voice of Commander Shepard from Mass Effect. She's now Ash from Overwatch. She's also voiced characters like Cinderella and tons and tons and tons of characters in the DC and Marvel cartoon universe. And then finally, the last one I put here is Mojo Jojo, voiced by Roger Jackson. But this is an interesting one, and I feel like you're going to appreciate this. He is the voice of Ghostface in all of the Scream movies and the Scream TV series.
Wow. Okay, that's weird, but all right.
Yeah. It's that, do you like scary movies,
right.
Sydney? Like, or whatever it is.
Yeah. I guess it's funny. Like, I never really associated that to a person.
One dude?
Yeah, one dude.
Yeah.
Like, I just would assume, or I guess I had assumed that it was just maybe some of the actors' voices, like, really kind of distorted in a certain way, like, as is kind of intended in the movie itself, like a voice changer device or something.
Which does like make me wonder, like one of the movies, it was a woman. Wasn't it like Sydney's mom or something?
Oh, I don't remember.
And I'm like, how did she go from like, what's your favorite scary movie to talking like this, Sydney? And I'm like, what? Okay, come on, guys. Like, no voice changer. Nothing's gonna drastically change that voice that much, but whatever.
And this was Mojo Jojo, you said?
Yes, this was Mojo Jojo.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love saying it like that because that's how he says it. It's just fun.
So for a few tasty marshmallows out of our big bowl of Powerpuff cereal, the devilish demonic rival's name is referred to as him because the producers thought the devil or Satan or any other name would be too controversial for a kid's show. Probably.
Yeah, I can see that. And I think that's why they refer to, like he never says hell. He always says heck instead.
Oh, yeah,
but it's like, what he's referring to. And that's pretty common. There's been a few cartoons, I think, that have done that, referred to it as heck. But
well, yeah. And I was talking to somebody yesterday about like the Dragon Ball Z version of that, where they call it the home for infinite losers, where it's like because hell is written on one of the Demon Guard's shirts, but they like whited out portions of it to where it's like HFIL. So home for infinite losers is always what I'll know it as.
I do remember that, and I never knew what that stood for, and now I do. You have enlightened me, sir.
Well, good to know. I hope you take this to your grave.
I will, because I'm going to die from the cold up here. So more like sooner than later.
The Powerpuff Girls' names were based on Fauna, Flora, and Merryweather from the popular Disney movie Sleeping Beauty, 1959.
Oh, I never would have thought of that. That's cool. That's a cool tidbit. Marshmallow.
Yeah.
TM.
Yeah. And Buttercup's name, and I didn't write this down, but I remember reading it. Like her name was Bud, like, Blossom, Bud, all still like a flower thing.
Okay.
And because she's like the tomboyish one, but somebody was like, dude, no, like this sounds way better. Just do Buttercup. And he was like, oh yeah, that does sound way better. And they went with it.
Okay. Yeah. I think that, that tracks. That's fine.
At least 4 of the Powerpuff Girls cartoons, and this is a tie into a previous episode or a previous show we did, have Dexter of Dexter's Laboratory in them. They're all cameo scenes. First, Dexter's a sleeping boy in the Powerpuff Bluff episode. Second, Dexter's character figure is seen during a montage sequence as the professor tries finding the correct chemical frequency solution in Crisscross Crisis. Oh, that's hard to say. Third, Dexter is just a figure of a doll in the Ploys R Us episode. Fourth, Dexter can be seen in the background and standing in the sidewalk in Forced Kin 2001. So yeah, Dexter's been in a lot of these episodes, which makes sense because this is kind of like an accompanying show to it on the Cartoon Network lineup at that time.
Right. It kind of, I mean, I guess because they do cross over in that way, they do take place in the same universe. But yeah, like this was in that block with Dexter's Lab and Cow and Chicken. And I think there's a few other ones. Ed, Ed and Eddie was there, but that came a little bit after these three. So yeah. That was part of that whole like, new like rebranding of Cartoon Network, which was Johnny Bravo. That was the other one I was thinking.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching these three vividly, but then like you were saying, Ed, Ed and Eddie, one that I didn't watch as much, so I didn't know as much about it. It was pretty funny, but maybe we'll review it someday so I can actually give it more of a chance.
Yeah, someday we will because it's the best one.
Oh, really?
Just saying.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
It's true.
So the Last Marshmallow, the trio was originally called, and I don't know if I'm going to bleep this or not, was originally called Whoop Ass Stew, but their name was changed to the Powerpuff Girls in 98. So Whoop Ass Stew was in 1992 when it was first created. And so it was changed to Powerpuff Girls in 98 when adult audiences disapproved of children hearing this profanity to younger generations, of course, especially preschool, kindergarten, and first grade. So they would not speak profanity in school without realizing they are or were cursing. So yeah, like they changed. They changed the name for obvious reasons. And when we watched that, when you like told me what the first episode was, and I watched this as like the 3-minute pilot, I was like, wow, this is way different. I mean, it's very much the same in a lot of ways, except that it's just like, whoop ass stew. Like it keeps saying it, and it's all about that.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, I don't understand why they named it that in the first place.
I'll tell you why. Do you remember? Well, I mean, this is my assumption, but I'm going to say it and you're going to be like, well, that tracks. So my assumption is, how like people used to say like open a can of whoop ass?
Yes.
Like you can see in the intro, as crude as it was, that like a can of whoop ass is spilled into the thing. So I don't know why they decided to go with that name in the first place, but I know that's why they use that.
So he made a whoop ass stew. And then the girls popped out of it.
Right. And so Whoop Ass Stew was what they came from. The Whoop Ass Girls is what they were called. And that just like, that gives me an entirely different feeling than this show ultimately does.
Whoop Ass Girls sounds better than Whoop Ass Stew. I mean, I can go with that.
That sounds like a guy named Stu who really likes to fight.
Yeah, it's just, but he's no good at it and he constantly loses.
Yeah.
It's just like at this point, it's like an ironic nickname that this drunk dude in the back of the bar who gets in a fight like twice a week has
here
earned.
Comes Whoop Ass Stew again.
There's
Everybody
Whoop
look
Ass
out.
Stew over there. Like, oh, who are you going to fight today, Whoop Ass Stew?
Shut up. Everybody shut up. Leave me alone.
It's too loud in here. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, so had you ever heard of this? Obviously, you've heard of it before, but did you ever watch it when we were kids?
Oh, yeah, I watched it. I watched that whole block of Cartoon Network stuff, especially like over the summer. I remember there was one summer that when I had my tonsils taken out and I just wasn't feeling up on much. I was kind of in a codeine like high for like 2 straight weeks that I don't remember much. Aside from eating homemade ice cream, little blocks of cheese, and watching Cartoon Network pretty much nonstop. And that's when I first started getting into all of these shows as well as like anime. Like that was my first foray and all that stuff. So yeah, it was that summer I got into all these things. And I think it was around the summer really that, I don't know if they had debuted that year, but it must have been sometime around then.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how much I had watched this. I was familiar with all the characters. I remember watching certain episodes of it, but it wasn't something I viewed regularly.
Yeah.
Not as much as I did Dexter's Lab at the time, because that was like one of my dad's favorites growing up. So
sure.
I didn't have that much exposure to it. I was just familiar with the universe. So it was really cool actually seeing these episodes and how they play out and just how we look at it so much differently as adults than we would have as kids, but how it still has that appeal.
Yeah, and I will say too, like several years ago, I had to babysit a little girl, and I don't know what to do with kids. So I'm like, okay, little girl, I'm perusing on Netflix, and I saw Powerpuff Girls, so I just put it on, and she got super into it. She loved it. So, I mean, just FYI there, if you don't know what to do when you're babysitting kids, just force them to watch this and everything will work out fine.
Well, yeah, because it has so much action to it. Like, for as fun and like wholesome as it is at times, there's still a lot of like moving and punching and kicking. Maybe a little much for like little kids. I don't know if they're going to emulate that or whatever, but
yeah, she was like 5 or 6, but this really held her attention, and she loved this first episode.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool, especially for little girls growing up, because it kind of breaks the stereotype of all these heroes being boys and whatever. And these are like actual like preschool or kindergarten age girls saving the world, saving Townsville at the very least. So let's go ahead and jump into the episode judge for today's show. The very first episode, highest rated episode, Finding a Random Listener Chosen episode. Order may vary depending on how these episodes fall chronologically, but of course we have to start with the very first episode, which was, well, technically the very first like premiere episode. There were a couple pilots beforehand, and then there was that one we just talked about before that even. But the first episode that aired officially was Monkey See, Doggie Do, season 1, episode 1A. A lot of the episodes were part of two-parters, like, you know, the 11-minute runs that we usually talk about, but then some of them were full episodes, like one of the ones we watched later on. So we'll talk about that when we get there. In this one, Mojo Jojo swipes some cursed artifacts from the Townsville Museum, and using them turns all of the people of Townsville and then the whole world into dogs. See, so it's a world threat in this case.
Okay, it is a world threat. Oh, that's right, because it did show the whole world turn into dogs. So there we go. They saved the world. Can we real quick just address that I did not remember like how stereotypically like Asian they made Mojo Jojo. Oh man. Like it just didn't cross my mind when I was younger. Then I started watching, I was like, oh, okay, there we go. He's still a fun character. I still love the character, but I was just like, huh.
Yeah, I think this show in that way, like it straddles the line. It doesn't cross it, but it gets real close. Yeah, it's not like uncomfortably close, but it's like it's one of those things where you do like kind of tilt your head a little bit, like, huh, okay, all right,
yeah, exactly. Oh man. But yeah, so like he breaks into this museum, he steals the Nubis dog head, and he steals these jewels. We don't know really why at first, but then when the girls get in there, I love that scene where they're in the museum, and the museum curator is, like trying to keep everybody from like wrecking stuff and to be really careful. Like he's just been really on the police, and that's why he brought Powerpuff Girls in to investigate so the police wouldn't be all over the place. And they just start like, they're like, okay, let's go look for it. And they're just busting through all the walls and breaking crap everywhere. And he like passes out because he's so distraught.
And then they're like, does anybody have any clues, or we can't find any more clues? And one of the cops is like, well, something else was stolen. Does that count as a clue?
Yeah. And I've seen a few cops that I feel like are that guy. To be honest,
this is for sure one of those shows that's like adults are pretty much all clueless and kids are the smarter ones.
It's true. Most of the adults are pretty clueless in this show. Most of them. There's a few that have their heads on straight, but not very many.
Yeah. Well, like one thing I noticed about this episode was when we see the mayor and Miss Bellum, like those are hilarious characters, but we see them like getting turned into dogs at that point, and Miss Bellum, like you never see her head, like she's always like just out of the screen because she's a taller person. So from the girl's perspective, like they're not seeing her head, so we're not seeing her head, and so
it's
that's
kind of like Nanny from Muppet Babies.
Yeah, exactly. And so we don't see her head at all. But what's interesting was because this was the first official episode, and they did a thing where like did the pan to her head and it was like a dog's head. It wasn't as impactful had you not seen the other episodes to know that we never see her face. You know what I mean? So I thought that was an interesting episode to start with.
That is true. And that makes me think that this probably was not the first episode that they made. You know, that they, I'm assuming they ordered so many episodes, they created them. They shuffled them around, and this one got put at the front because you're right that joke doesn't land without knowing already that you would never see her face.
Right.
So yeah, that was an odd one to start with, but I don't know.
But I wonder also if it's like, because in some of the later episodes, we see this like police officer who's a dog. So I wonder if that was a part of this. You know what I mean? Like that talking police dog. So I wonder if that was just like a leftover thing from this episode.
Just a little remnant. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it never touches on it or anything, at least not in the episodes we watched. So I'm not sure that that's the case, but that's how I could explain it off is like, okay, everybody gets turned into a dog. This guy just didn't get turned back for whatever reason.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. It's just like some little skid mark left behind from this episode that you can't get off the floor.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. Mojo puts these jewels that he steals inside the Anubis head. It's like a little statue and starts going around and it's turning everyone into dogs. And I liked that scene. I liked where the dogs are... he can command them and he has them start like robbing places and stealing stuff. One thing Rochelle pointed out that cracked me up was like everyone is now dogs and they all obey him. And it's just like he could have just, gone and done his own thing, but instead he has them do it. And I'm like, okay, well,
yeah, they're like
no one's going to be stopping him. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I like how he gives them commands like dogs just like sit, stay. Now steal.
I did like it was funny seeing them run around robbing banks and some of the dogs had the one dog was driving the car and leaning out the side like he's all like showing off and
like
stuff.
wrecking into everything.
Yeah, a few of those dogs had like ski masks on because they were robbing stores. But I'm like, if he turned everyone to dogs, like who are they afraid of seeing their faces? Plus, they're dogs. So, I mean, it's not like you'd be able to pick a bunch of them out of a lineup. So,
I like when he does get to the point of turning the whole world into dogs, because
that was good.
We see it going around like, turning these two French people kissing into dogs and their tongues are like licking each other's tongues.
Yeah.
And then we see this Asian guy eating sushi and he turns into a dog. And that one's one of the funniest ones because of what happens when it comes back.
He turns back.
Because like eventually, the girls save the day. Well, I'll get there in a second. So the girls get turned into dogs too. And then it's like,
oh, wait, though, we got to address the best dog of all, the professor.
Oh, yeah.
And they go find the professor and he's turned into a dog and they're trying to talk to him. And he's like, bow, wow, bow, wow, wow, wow,
wow, wow, wow, wow.
He was the best dog. He was a good boy.
But he made them like give him treats and play with him before he would reveal the answer to them.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And they're like, Professor, who did it? And he's like, bow, wow, wow, wow.
They're like, okay. They get him a dish of water, throw a ball.
Yeah.
He's still got his pipe, too. That's the best part.
Oh, yeah.
He's always smoking this stovepipe at all times.
Right.
Because that's the hallmark of being a professor. Like, as soon as you graduate, you have a pipe in your mouth. They just, once they put that little rope around your neck or sash or whatever they do when people I don't know. I'll never be a professor.
The rope around your neck, yeah.
Yeah, it just like that pipe appears in your mouth and it never leaves.
Yep, it's just part of your graduation.
It's just, it's your life now. Yeah. But yeah, so the girls go after Mojo Jojo. He turns them into dogs and they were adorable little dogs. But then there's this dog fight. That was fairly brutal, honestly.
Oh, yeah, like they fight a bunch of like Doberman pinchers or something. And it does turn into a pretty brutal little dog fight between the girls and the dogs. Of course, the girls come out the winners of that. Yeah. And they go to, stop Mojo. And eventually, he is one of those people who reveals his plans or reveals the weaknesses in his plans he's doing. He's like, good thing you didn't break this head because then the whole spell would be broken. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he jumps up on jumps up 2 stairs. It's like, good thing you can't like climb up the stairs to reach me. And Buttercup just runs around the other side and bites him in the butt.
And then knocks him over the head.
Yeah.
Comes up and drops on his head and burst open. Then when everybody's turning back, that's where I want to go back to the Asian guy. Like everybody else turns back normally and, they're just back to exactly what they were doing. The Asian guy is still eating sushi, but he's on the table. He's nude and he's just like licking the sushi. It's such a weird... It's such a fast thing, but it's like, wow, what happened in this transition? Yeah.
That's what we talked about too. We're like, how come everyone else showed up with their clothes still and he's just butt naked on this table? Like what happened there?
Right. There's a story there. That's an
Yeah.
episode I just need to see like what happened in the meantime.
Yeah, something happened in between those scenes that, he lost his clothes.
Yeah.
But it turned Mojo into a dog. And I did like the little joke where like the girls brought him home because he's a cute little dog. And they're like telling the professor, like, can we keep him, please? And he's like, now, girls, keeping a villain is is a lot of work. Yeah, I just thought that was fun.
Yeah, take him outside, take him for walks, keep him from causing mayhem and chaos, and from chewing the furniture. So even though I'm not sure it should have been the first episode of this, like just because of the Miss Bellum thing, it was still a good opening episode.
Yeah, I liked it.
Really enjoyed it. The second one we watched for today's show was the Rowdyruff Boys, season 1, episode 12, which was the highest rated. This was the full 22-minute episode. And in this one, Mojo Jojo is so outraged at his constant defeats against the Powerpuff Girls that he decides to beat them at their own game by creating the Rowdyruff Boys, who prove superior fighters to the girls.
Okay, I gotta say, like, Mojo Jojo is straight up just murdering people at the beginning of this episode. Did you catch that? Like, he blew people up. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, didn't he like blast some people with the laser of that one thing he was in? Yeah.
They exploded. And then he was blowing up all these buildings. You know, people are in there. And I was just like, holy crap.
Yeah, it's like
He's
they
just
don't
killing
bring
everyone.
They don't bring attention to the death count, but there's definitely some people who didn't make it out of this alive.
Oh yeah, there's a death count for sure. Like, there's a lot of missing persons being filed right now in Townsville. That's for sure.
Yeah, so
Good Lord.
It does open with him, you know, going on all these like it does the opening. The city of Townsville is under attack by Mojo Jojo, and just happens a few times. He keeps getting caught by the girls and going to jail. And then that's when he gives up, and he just, or doesn't give up. Like, he just gets super frustrated. I like when he just starts freaking out and doing the whole monkey rage thing.
Yeah, he's doing an actual monkey thing.
Yeah.
Monkey noises, running around. He didn't throw any poop, but I mean, pretty much anything else an angry monkey does. Like,
right.
He gets to do an angry chimp.
So he gets the idea of, he calls a professor first to see what the girls are made out of, and acts like he's calling from a community college and doing a research paper about the girls.
I did like that because he just like he tells the worst lie and the professor's just like, oh, and tells him the exact formula.
I'm just a curious stranger.
Yeah, that was really good. And so he's trying to make his own version in jail, but he wants something manlier, he says. So he's gonna make some boys instead of making Powerpuff Girls. So he needs so the Powerpuff Girls are sugar, spice, everything nice, and then chemical X. Okay, so for the boys, that rhyme or whatever is snips, snails, and puppy dog tails. So he in the like prison that he's in, some dude's weightlifting, he runs up and starts snipping the dude's armpit hair.
Oh, that's so gross.
Was sick. He gets some snails, some contraband snails.
Oh, I love that scene actually, because he's going to like the jail cafeteria, and he, you know, the chef's just like handing out this slop to everybody, and he's just like, escargot, please. And he hands them like a nice plate of these like nicely prepared snails. Yeah.
And they're all like happy looking. They got smiley faces and stuff on.
Yeah.
And then we've got like this dog that's a guard. This is the one that you were referencing a little bit ago. I don't know why he's there, but he's a talking dog. He's one of the guard, and when it walks by, he rips its tail off. I was like, good Lord.
And the dog just like, ouch.
Yeah, and then just keeps walking. And well, this is the part that really confuses me. So he needs chemical X, and he's trying to find out like, oh, well, what's got that potency of chemical X? And you see like this really disgusting toilet in his cell, and you see like the stink lines coming off it and the flies buzzing around it, and he's like, chemical X, and then he throws the stuff, and I'm like, okay, what was that getting at, man?
I don't know. I think it's just had the potency of chemical X, because there was all kinds of stuff going on in there in that prison toilet bowl.
It's so gross.
Ugh.
Yeah, so he just flushes it all down the toilet, and then it glows, and the Rowdyruff boys pop out. They're basically opposites of the Powerpuff Girls. Kind of look like them a little bit, they're all the same colors except darker versions of red, green, and blue. And their names are the red one is Brick as opposed to Blossom being pink. Boomer is the blue Rowdyruff boy as opposed to Bubbles blue, or pastel blue. And then Butch is the darker green one as opposed to Buttercup wearing that pastel green.
Yeah, and they first try to fight Mojo because they're just looking to fight. Like they just want to battle people. Yes. And so they try to beat him up, and he's just like, no, like I have a dark heart too, or whatever he said. And we need to fight people who are like sitting on the throne, whose butts are sitting on a throne of justice, or kick the butts of people whose butts are sitting on a throne of justice and stuff like that. And go through all these things, and eventually gets to like, you need to fight the Powerpuff Girls. And he's like, well, if we just had an exit out of here, I could show you where they are. And so they grab them, just break them out of the rooftop, or break them out of the ceiling. And they immediately start to fight the girls because at the moment, like the girls have just defeated some giant octopus, because City of Townsville is always under attack by something. Yeah. Whether it's a villain or a kaiju monster or whatever. In this case, it was just a giant octopus. So they fight it. While that's happening, right after that happens, the boys come in and sort of bum rush them and just start this fight. They think it's going to be like an easy fight because they're saying like, you girls are supposed to be crying or whatever. And it continues for a while. They start to go through all their move lists. Like Ballistic Barrage is the boys version where they do all this like rushing and punching. And then Acrobatic is where the girls do some like crazy cartwheels and kind of like wheel towards the boys and fight them. And it's just this whole like it's a pretty long fight.
Yeah, it really is. It gets a little brutal too. I mean, they are not holding back in this at all.
I like when Bubbles gets thrown through the like into that guy's shop or pet store. So I can't remember what it was, but she's thrown into that store, and she's like, "Sorry about your window, Mr. Looper." And as she's leaving, he's just like, "It's Cooper." Like he has to correct her.
It's pretty much a stalemate for most of that fight until towards the very end. The girls try to get some distance on him real quick, but then the boys, they throw in they go to Afterburner, which is basically they just fart these big colorful clouds. They fart the girls into submission, and the girls fall to the earth through make a big old crater, and they're defeated and pretty much passed out, and all of Townsville's gathering over and all sad and crying, and the tears land on them and awaken them, but they feel like, even though they're awake, they feel ashamed. They're like, we lost, we let you down. And it's Miss Bellum that gives the speech where she's just like, no, we love you, like you can't let us down. And then this is a little weird. Then tells the girls that they have to use, they've got one thing that the boys don't have, saying it being nice. But like when she's saying like nice, it's like the camera is zoomed in on her gigantic cleavage, and I was like, what is happening? But yeah, they're basically, I mean, I know she's saying nice, but she's basically saying to use their like, femininity. Is that a word? Femininity.
She's saying essentially to use your feminine wiles against the boys,
which works because they show up. They're looking all pretty, batting their eyes, kiss the boys on the cheeks. They explode and die.
It's pretty much cooties. Like they fight them with cooties.
Yeah, that's true. I have two questions right now about Townsville. One, it must be like Sunnydale, where it's like built on top of a hellmouth, and that's why it's constantly under attack by monsters and bad guys and all kinds of stuff. It's like Gotham and Sunnydale combined into one city, I think. Just constantly being attacked. The other thing is, I'm wondering what is their court system like, that Mojo is he's a monkey, for one, constantly being arrested, put in a human prison, and constantly being released or escaping. You think after a while they'd figure it out, but I don't know.
It's got to be escaping. I can't imagine he's released after, especially not after presumably killing people like that. Yeah, he's done some bad things. So he has to find ways to escape. Yeah, he's a mass murdering monkey.
That's what happens when you put dogs in charge of your prisons. I mean, I know that, budget season is, you really got to clamp down on things, but I feel like, hiring dogs probably not the best decision.
But what if it was a dog who was once a man?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But
What
I mean,
if he starts a man and becomes a dog while he's already an employee?
Well, I mean, this dog got his tail ripped off and still just kind of really paid it no mind.
So he's a tough guy. Like, this is someone you want on your side.
But not disciplined enough. He's just not disciplined enough to really, to give that air of authority that those prisoners need to stay in line,
Yeah, if only he were a larger dog. Anyway, the third episode we watched for today's show was Speed Demon, Season 2, Episode 12A. And this was your choice?
Yeah, I picked this one just because I wanted to pick one with him in it because I knew I enjoy that character because he creeps me out. I remember being a kid watching it and seeing a few episodes with him, and I mean it as a character, not his literal name being him, with that guy in it, and just he unnerves me a bit, or he unnerved me then. Mm-hmm. Not as much now that I'm older, but he is an unnerving character for sure. So I wanted to make sure I got one in, and I read up on a few of his episodes, and everyone says that this one is kind of the most creepy, disturbing episode of all of the Powerpuff Girl episodes. So I was like, okay, I want to check what this one's about.
I would say so, because it's essentially the apocalypse after a bit. But just to before we start that, I wanted to mention that he is a obvious reference to the Blue Meanie from the Beatles' Yellow Submarine, if anyone's familiar with that.
Yeah.
Because he's got that thing where he's got that like really high pitched voice and then he goes really mean. And that's like his whole deal. Yeah.
I love that. I love characters that do that. I think it's really cool. It is unnerving. If you want that as a character, it's a really quick way to pull that off before you even see what they look like. So, I mean, it's an amazing tactic to use. They also use that for the Grumble in Our Real Monsters.
Right.
And he is just as unnerving and no, well, I would say him is probably more unnerving, but I mean, he's still got that feel about him too. And I think it's a really, really cool way of doing a character.
Before we start this, also just on that same Beatles note, I wanted to say, I also watched season 3, episode 12, which was called, or I think it was 12B. It was called The Beat Alls, like beat-alls. And it's Mojo Jojo, him. I can't remember the little girl's name who was like against the Powerpuff Girls.
That princess girl.
Right, the princess girl. Yeah. And then Fuzzy Lumpkins, they were essentially the Beatles or the Beat Alls. And except instead of having like a music career where they're going through, they're just having like a crime spree. But almost every line that's used in that episode is like the name of a Beatles song or a reference to a Beatles lyric or something.
Oh, goodness.
A lot of the characters are talking specifically about the Beatles. You even see like the Abbey Road scene where they're kind of walking across that street. So if you are a fan of the Beatles, which I am, you'll appreciate that episode.
There you go. There's your takeaway from this episode.
Right. But to get to this one, the girls accidentally fly the speed of light, and when they arrive home, everything has changed. 50 years have passed, and the world has been taken over by him, since the girls weren't around to defeat him.
I liked at the beginning of this that they're just like in school, and they're in like preschool, kindergarten. The teacher, Miss Keene's kind of in her own world, doing something on the blackboard, and then she just pretty much writes this theorem for time travel up really quickly, and then she's like, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
And then, school gets out. They're excited because they're going to go on vacation. They're sick of Townsville because it's always under attack. They want to go on vacation, be away from it for a bit. So Buttercup, being Buttercup, is like, hey, we're racing home. Like, try to beat me. So they're all going as fast as they can. And that propels them through time. It's like when Superman had to turn back time and he just flew around the earth until it spun backwards, which wouldn't turn time back. It would just kill us all. But,
Yeah. You just spin the earth in reverse. And we would all, I don't know, we'd probably all fly off of it or just be disintegrated.
Sci-fi logic. It's fine.
It'd be bad stuff. So, they go back in time by 50 years. Well, not back in time. Sorry. They go forward in time by 50 years. And so it's an apocalyptic scenario. Townsville is wrecked. Like they try to go home first, and the professor's like a much older man, going crazy, trying to recreate the formula to remake the Powerpuff Girls because they've disappeared. And he's like, why didn't I write this down? I can't remember what the last ingredient is or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he's like sugar, spice, and like dried rice or something.
Yeah. Yeah, he's old, decrepit, very obviously is gone kind of insane. Well, everyone in this world has gone insane, basically. Because I mean, I assume they've all pretty much been tortured psychologically for 50 years. He... I guess had been hallucinating a lot. He sees the girls and he thinks that he's hallucinating them again. He's yelling for them to leave him alone. It's creepy, man. So then they go to the next place. They go by the mayor, and we haven't talked about the mayor that much yet. And he is arguably the best character of this series. He's super, super funny. This short little guy, just very spastic, very talkative, kind of an idiot, but you love him.
Yeah.
And here's some dark stuff. The mayor's dead.
Yeah.
There is a scene, and I don't know if you saw that, where it pans by like some, I don't remember if they were old newspapers or posters or something like that. And they show, like, you have to like pause it to be able to read it, I believe. And they show like a few things that happened. And one was like the mayor's gone missing. Then one's like the mayor gone at, whatever, like age 88 or something like that. Like he's dead, presumably murdered because he went missing. So yeah, it's kind of messed up. Miss Bellum's there. She's gone totally crazy. She's like crying and ranting, and she holds on to the mayor's hat and keeps talking about calling the Powerpuff Girls and they never came and stuff. It's really creepy.
And everyone's like blaming the Powerpuff Girls for it. Like if you hadn't, turned back time, or if you hadn't gone missing, like none of this would have happened. Like, where have you been? All that. And so, yeah, everyone's gone slightly insane. They then encounter him who, and this is only an 11-minute episode and all this is happening in. So that if it sounds like we're like fast forwarding through it, this is pretty much the pace it's going. So they encounter him and he's telling them like everything that's happened, like since they've been gone, he took over, the whole world went to heck, he says, since that's, what they're using. And then he turns into like a giant version of himself, which was really scary. And I was like, was this the only time this has happened? Because that's really creepy and kind of awesome looking.
Yeah. I don't know. They tried to fight him before he even transformed, and he basically shrugged it all off. Like he let them hit him, and then he just kind of would look at them and be like, "Is that all?"
Yeah, he's like laughing it off.
Then he becomes giant, and all these people gather around, and they're all like, it's townspeople, and they're all decrepit. They look like zombies. They're all pointing at the Powerpuff Girls and saying it's their fault and stuff. The girls are like screaming and crying, and it's very dark, honestly. And there is no solution to it's too late. There's nothing they can do for that version of the future. So they have to go back in time. So they basically flee and just travel really fast. And they end up right back where they had left off and see the professor. And they tell them they don't want to go on their vacation. They need to stay in Townsville. Everything's back to normal and stuff again. It's dark because and interesting because it just shows like the amount of weight on their shoulders. Like if they ever actually left or failed, like Townsville is doomed, and probably the world. So like they wouldn't even be able to go off to college, man. Like they just can't.
That's like the conundrum with those any of those realities that are protected by superheroes is
right.
I think it was posed in like a Superman comic or something. I can't remember, but it's like are people becoming more reliant? It might have been Watchmen even. Are people becoming more reliant on these superheroes, and so they forget how to fend for themselves, and thus, in the absence of the superhero, they are just completely doomed. But it's also because of the superhero that they reach that point of weakness in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that like philosophical debate of what is fueling what.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a chicken egg thing, but
it is a chicken egg. There you go. This is this whole episode. It's just a chicken egg, so it's easy to explain.
I like the way that they kind of ended that episode was, telling the professor, can you guess what would happen if we were gone? And he's just like, heck if I know. And they're like, exactly. Yeah. So it ends on a light note, but most of the episode is pretty dark. Potentially the darkest episode of Powerpuff Girls overall. I don't know. I haven't seen all of them, but I don't see it getting much darker than this.
Consensus on the intranets seem to confirm that is probably the darkest episode.
Yeah. I mean, usually alternate reality episodes of, post-apocalyptic alternate realities, pretty dark. You kind of have to be. Yeah. Well, Chris, looks like it's about time we see if we're able to give our inner kids superpowers by dousing them in toilet water. Then, assuming they haven't flown off to save or destroy the world, see what they thought of the show, The Powerpuff Girls.
This cartoon's really fun because the girls are cool superheroes. They get to beat up all these big bad guys and monkeys. But I don't want to get turned back into snails, so none of them get to be my new girlfriend. But I gave this cartoon 5 bowls of bow wow, bow wow 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 out of 5. This show was way more fun than I expected it to be. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup are all uniquely entertaining, and the city of Townsville is a character in and of itself, with its constantly being under attack and its wild menagerie of inhabitants. On top of that, even the villains of the show are as lovable as they are diabolical. It has an appealing animation style that works very well with the fast-paced action, and a quirky lightheartedness that really appeals to both kids and adults alike. Overall, I'd give the Powerpuff Girls 5 big bowls of Chemical X Crunch cereal out of 5. I would definitely recommend this gym to everybody. And since I don't really want to deal with toilet water, I'm wondering if instead of being a Rowdyruff boy, I could just be a Powerpuff boy instead. I mean, I like sugar and spice and everything nice too. And keep in mind, I'm not opposed to wearing a little dress if I must.
Some things never change.
It sounds like you were channeling my inner kid that time. Okay, so question for you. 2 questions, actually. First, I want you to tell me, which is your favorite of the 3 Powerpuff Girls? Which one's yours? And then, because we love villains, if you guys haven't noticed, and their rogues gallery is huge and really cool. So what's your favorite Powerpuff Girl? And then what's your favorite of the villains?
I'm going to say overall my favorite Powerpuff Girl, if I had to choose, because I love all of them, would be Bubbles, because I like that she is oftentimes, I mean, she's the heart of the group, but she's oftentimes seems kind of clueless as to what's going on. She just wants peace and love and joy. And she's the one that's most like a kid in my eyes. It's most like a kindergarten little girl with superpowers. So it's like, that she's my favorite because she's the comic relief of the group for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just enjoy her the most.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same for me in that respect. For most of those reasons, I think she's the one that I align with the most, or the one I relate to the most, for sure. So what about the villains?
Yeah, well, if we're talking about relating to the most, I would probably have to say Blossom, especially when I was a kid, because I was very like uptight in that way, not in like a real bad way, but in like I like structure to things, and
a little type A.
And I wasn't necessarily a leadership type or whatever, but I liked order, and Blossom's more on that side of things. So yeah, relatability, Blossom, but my favorite overall, Bubbles. And then villain wise, I'm gonna have to say, I'd probably have to say him also, just because that's the one that stuck in my mind for this long. I like Mojo, and I like all of them in different ways, but he's the one who has the most authentically villainous, like, it just seems the most villainous to me. The rest of them are kind of goofy in different ways, and him, like, he is kind of, but at the same time, it's one of those where he's like a ticking time bomb with that whole high voice, low creepy voice. So you never really know what he's going to do or what to expect from him. Whereas the other villains are kind of predictable in what they have planned and what's going on. So yeah, he's the strongest villain in my mind.
Yeah, he's really awesome. He probably is like the best villain out of all of them. But I also really do love, it's hard for me to decide between the Gangrene Gang and the Amoeba Boys. I love both of them.
Oh yeah.
I think I would say I like the Amoeba Boys better, just because I like that they're just giant amoebas that are gangsters, but also like they are never really a threat, at least on purpose. Like they always try. Nothing ever really works the way they want to, or their plans are always really stupid and bad and just not threatening at all. But I do distinctly remember one episode where they accidentally like were defeating the Powerpuff Girls. And I just loved that one. I thought that was great. They just crack me up.
Oh, man. So talking about the Gangrene Gang, Ace, the leader of the Gangrene Gang, the one with the sunglasses and the like split hair, he is also, or was, I don't know if he still is, a temporary member of the Gorillas, the music group. Their latest album.
Yes.
Yeah, like
I
he
saw
became
that.
a part of it. Yeah.
That's so weird and random.
What a weird crossover.
Because they got rid of Murdoch, right?
Murdoch got taken to, in this, fake reality, like Murdoch got sent to prison for some reason. So Ace is taking his place temporarily. So I just thought that was an interesting tie-in. And I'm glad you mentioned Gangrene Gang because I almost forgot to even mention that. I wanted to mention that tie-in for anybody who wasn't aware.
I just love the design of the Gangrene Gang, especially Ace. Their designs are fantastic. That is so weird. I don't understand it at all, but I like it.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned them too, because like in that one episode of the Whoop-Ass Girls that we watched, like they're both there. Like the Gangrene Gang's in the intro of it, and then we see the Amoeba Boys as the main threat, who are then taken to the sun and burnt up by the Whoop-Ass Girls. Yeah,
it doesn't take much. Just direct sunlight.
Right.
So with that said, do you have any closing comments before we get out of here?
I mean, like this was a show like I knew was good, but it's one I didn't give as much of a chance as a kid, or I just didn't understand it enough to maybe like it as much as I do now. But having said that, after watching these episodes, even these few episodes, and then jumping into a different one, that Beatles one I was talking about, it's just such a fun, like lighthearted show. Even with these dark moments it has, it always like comes back with something really wholesome in a way. It's an entertaining cartoon that has a positive message to it. And it's also very empowering for little girls or kids or whoever, takes something from it. And I think it's going to be one of those that lasts pretty much forever, as long as people keep it around. I don't know how the new show is in comparison, but the original one is the way to go.
Yeah, this cartoon aged pretty well. As far as the animation and stuff goes, there's some spots that still look a little rough, but overall, it was still really good. The jokes are still really funny. It's entertaining. It's cute. I've seen a lot of it in the past, so I don't really plan on going back and watching more, but like, if I ever just stumbled across it for whatever reason, I would totally watch it. And if you've never seen it before or it's been a long time, I would definitely give it another shot. And I am interested to see what the new one's about. I know it's like different cast. I'm not sure if the plot is any different, but I think I heard that they added a fourth. I don't know if that was for the whole show, or if that was a temporary thing that they added a fourth Powerpuff Girl. I'm not sure, but I'm interested in checking it out after having revisited this one. So definitely recommend it. So thank you, the Voker, for suggesting this one. I'm glad that we finally got to it.
Yes, thank you, the Voker. We got to it. We've completed the original Powerpuff Girls episode, and we now need to watch the other one, 2016 version, eventually, once someone brings that to the table.
Someday. So
maybe the Voker will bring it back, and then we'll get a...
4 years from now, we'll actually get to do it.
Yeah, we'll make it over to that one.
Exactly.
Well, listeners, looks like our milk supply is now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. Next week, we'll be watching...
Carmen Sandiego, suggested by you, Joseph. Why don't you tell the viewers why?
I don't know much about this new version that's on Netflix, and it just came out recently in January, so I am curious about it.
You're really selling it.
That's why I want to watch it. I want to watch it because I don't know much about it, but I like the art style. It looks like it'll be fun, and I like the other Carmen Sandiego cartoon to a degree, and this kind of looks like an origin story, so I'm curious to see how they'll pull it off. So yeah, this is me suggesting bringing it to the table out of curiosity, and for anyone else who's curious about it, we'll see how it is.
Yeah, it's getting pretty good feedback from what I understand, so I am interested in it. And the animation looks pretty cool. It looks real clean, real crisp. It's got a good style that kind of reminds me of the Tangled animated series. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's true, because it has like that painterly effect to it without like really hard lines or anything. Yeah, so we'll see on that one.
Yes.
But I'm glad it's getting good reception. I haven't looked up any reviews of it or anything, so I'm really just like, I saw the imagery of it when I opened up Netflix and I was like, this looks fun. So yeah, that's why it's here.
Like, that's a thing. Okay, we'll do it.
This exists.
That exists. Someone made it.
Once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And we'll see you next Saturday.
Presented by Nerdsloth.
A place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.